My name is Wendy Sullivan. I'm 26 years old. 3 hours ago, I sat in a lawyer's office and listened to my own father call me a thief. Not quietly, not privately. He stood up, pointed at me across a mahogany table, and told a room full of people that I stole from my grandmother while she was dying, that I lived with her for 2 years just to rob her, that I killed her. My mother nodded. My sister cried right on cue. My brother stayed silent, but his eyes said he agreed. The attorney, Grace Whitmore, 65, gray hair pulled back tight, didn't interrupt. She just watched. Then she smiled. Mr. Sullivan, she said, before we continue, your mother left very specific instructions for this moment. She turned her laptop toward the room. She installed security cameras 14 months ago, and she instructed me to play this footage if anyone ever accused Wendy of theft. My father's face went white when he realized what was on that video. Before I tell you what happened next, if you think this story is worth hearing, take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely want to. And leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there, because what happened next didn't just shock them, it destroyed them. Now let me take you back 2 weeks after my grandmother died. I got a call from Grace Whitmore's office. A woman with a crisp, professional voice told me the will reading was scheduled for Tuesday, March 18th at 2 o'clock. Attendance was mandatory for all named heirs. A woman's voice, professional and careful, told me the will reading was scheduled for Tuesday, March 18th at 2 o'clock sharp. Whitmore and Associates, 14th floor. Attendance mandatory for all named heirs. I asked who else would be there. She listed them. My father, Patrick. My mother, Linda. My sister, Natalie. My brother, Connor. I hadn't seen any of them since the funeral. That was April 5th. Gray sky. Threatening rain. We stood in a cemetery in Orange County while a pastor who'd never met my grandmother read verses about peace and rest. My father wore a $3,000 suit and shook hands with strangers. My mother accepted condolences with practiced grace. Natalie wore $800 heels and cried into a tissue. Connor flew in from Los Angeles, stayed 3 hours, flew back. I was the one who picked the casket. Mahogany, simple, no unnecessary ornaments. I was the one who chose the flowers. White roses, her favorite. I was the one who wrote the obituary because no one else volunteered. At the funeral, Natalie hugged me and whispered in my ear, "At least now you can get your own place." I didn't answer. Now I was driving downtown. My Honda Civic, 2018, silver, 110,000 miles, made a rattling sound past 50. I wore a $35 Target dress, navy blue, simple, the only thing in my closet that seemed appropriate. The building was all glass and steel, reflective windows, polished floors, the kind of place that made you feel small before you walked in. I took the elevator to 14. The reception area had floor to ceiling windows and leather chairs that probably cost more than my car. My family was already there. My father stood by the window, hands in his pockets, looking out at the city. Patrick Sullivan, 55, real estate broker, successful. His suit probably cost 3 months of my rent. His hair grayed at the temples in a way that looked distinguished. My mother sat near the desk, scrolling her phone. Linda Sullivan, 53, former nurse, quit when she married up. Manicured nails, French tips, not a chip in sight. Natalie sat beside her, 23, medical student, third year at USC, long dark hair, perfect skin. She wore her USC medical sweatshirt like armor, yoga pants, Louboutin heels. Even casual looked expensive on her. Connor slouched across from them. 21, business major, black Nike hoodie, jeans, white sneakers. He scrolled his phone, didn't look up. They all turned when I walked in. No one smiled. Wendy, my father said. Just my name. Flat. Hi, Dad. My mother glanced up, looked through me, went back to her phone. Natalie said nothing. Connor didn't acknowledge me at all. I sat 3 chairs away from Connor, the farthest available seat. The air felt heavy. No one spoke. The only sounds were the air conditioning and my mother's nails tapping her phone screen. At exactly 2 o'clock, the receptionist stood. Ms. Whitmore is ready. We followed her down a hallway, framed degrees on the walls, brass nameplates on doors. Everything expensive, everything designed to intimidate. The conference room was large, 18 by 24 feet maybe. Cherry wood table, 8 high-backed leather chairs, windows overlooking the city, air conditioning set cold. I felt goosebumps on my arms. Grace Whitmore sat at the head, 65 years old, gray hair in a tight bun, sharp eyes behind thin glasses, charcoal suit, white blouse, the kind of woman who didn't waste words. Beside her, a younger woman with a laptop, an assistant. At the far end, a man with reading glasses and a notary stamp. 7 people total. Grace gestured to the chairs. Please sit. My parents took the seats closest to her. Positions of importance. Natalie beside my mother. Connor beside my father. I sat at the opposite end. Alone. Grace opened a leather folder. Pulled out a thick document. 27 pages. Stapled. Official paper with a watermark visible even from my seat. Thank you all for coming. Her voice was calm, measured, the voice of someone who delivered bad news before. I know this is difficult. Dorothy was remarkable. I knew her 38 years. I'm honored she trusted me with her final wishes. My father crossed his arms. Let's move this along, Grace. We have dinner reservations at 6. Grace looked at him, didn't blink. 3 full seconds. This will take as long as it takes, Mr. Sullivan. She adjusted her glasses and began. I, Dorothy Ann Sullivan, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament, executed on the 26th day of February, 2024. I focused on the date, February 26th, 5 weeks before she died. Grace continued. Legal language, executor appointments, revocation of prior wills, standard clauses, then the numbers. Total estate value, as assessed on the date of execution, is approximately $1,150,000. My mother sat straighter. This includes the primary residence at 428 Sycamore Drive, appraised at $780,000, savings accounts totaling $285,000, life insurance totaling $85,000. My father leaned forward. Grace turned a page. Distribution of assets is as follows. My father stood. His chair scraped loud against the floor. Wait. His voice was controlled but tight underneath. Before you continue, there's something we need to address. Grace looked up over her glasses. Yes, Mr. Sullivan. He turned to face me. His face was red, angry red. The vein on his forehead, the one that appeared when he was furious, was visible across the table. My mother's coin collection is gone. His voice filled the room. 47 rare coins, your grandfather's collection, appraised at $28,000. Gone. My stomach dropped. And her wedding ring, 1952, 14-karat gold, small diamond, appraised at $6,500, also gone. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. My throat closed. Dad, only one person had access. He cut me off, got louder. Only one person lived in that house. Only one person had opportunity. My mother pulled out her phone, swiped quickly, held it up. Photos. 6 of them in a grid. Empty wooden display case. Open drawer. Empty ring holder. Close-ups of spaces where valuable things used to be. Wendy lived with Mom for 2 years. My mother's voice was sharp, accusatory, rent-free. She had access to every room, every drawer, every safe. I tried again, my voice barely a whisper. I didn't. My father slammed his hand on the table. Everyone jumped. You have debt. Louder now. $18,000 from your divorce. You lost your job. You were desperate. You needed money. My mother nodded hard. The coins went missing end of February. Mom had a stroke 3 weeks later. The stress of the theft. It killed her. Natalie started crying. Real tears. Running mascara. She grabbed a tissue from the box on the table, pressed it to her eyes. How could you, Wendy? Her voice broke. Grandma loved you. She trusted you. She let you live there, and this is how you repay her? I felt like I was drowning. I would never. My voice cracked. You were jealous. Natalie sobbed now. Jealous because we have careers, because we're successful, because we didn't have to move in with Grandma like some kind of. She didn't finish. Didn't have to. Connor looked up from his phone, stared at me, silent, jaw tight, disgusted. My father pointed at me. His hand shook. My mother was fine until Wendy showed up. Healthy, happy. Then Wendy moved in and suddenly things disappeared and Mom had a stroke and died. His voice cracked on the last word. Then he turned to Grace. His face hardened. She doesn't deserve a single cent. Each word deliberate. Final. She's a thief. She's a liar. She's the reason my mother is dead. Silence. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook so badly I gripped the table edge to steady them. Grace. My father's voice dropped to something that might sound reasonable if you didn't know him. As a friend of this family, I'm asking you to remove Wendy from the will. Immediately. She doesn't deserve to benefit from the woman she killed. Grace closed the document, removed her glasses, set them on the table, looked at my father for 5 seconds without blinking, then spoke, very quietly. Mr. Sullivan, I need you to sit down, right now. My father stayed standing. I will not. You will sit? Grace's voice cut like steel. Or I will call security and have you escorted out, and I will read your mother's will without you present. My father stared. You can't. I can. And I will. Grace's hand moved toward her phone. Your mother gave me full discretion as executor. If you disrupt these proceedings, you forfeit your right to be present. Sit down. He sat, slowly, jaw clenched. Grace turned to me. Her expression softened slightly. Miss Sullivan, are you aware your grandmother installed security cameras in January of this year? I nodded, my voice quiet. Yes, I helped her. Natalie gasped. You spied on us? Grace didn't look at her. No. Dorothy asked Wendy to install cameras because valuable items had been reported missing. Items Dorothy believed were stolen. The room went quiet. Stolen? My mother's voice was faint. Yes. Grace reached into her briefcase, pulled out a laptop, opened it, waited for it to boot. Dorothy left specific instructions. She said, I quote, if anyone accuses Wendy of theft at the reading, show them the footage immediately. I will not have my granddaughter blamed for crimes she didn't commit. My father started to stand. Grace held up one hand. Don't. He sat back. Grace typed, pulled up a file, turned the screen so it faced the table, positioned so everyone could see if they leaned forward. This is footage from the camera in Dorothy's study, hidden in a picture frame on the wall. It recorded continuously to cloud storage. She clicked play. Black and white video. Night vision. Timestamp. December 18th, 2023. 11:52 p.m. angle from the picture frame, looking toward the door. The door opened. A figure entered. Dark hoodie. Hood up. Jeans. Sneakers. Connor leaned forward, squinting. Who is that? Watch, Gray said. The figure moved through the room, opened desk drawers, checked the cabinet where coins had been, searched for minutes, then left. This person was searching for something already taken. They didn't know that yet. Grace clicked another file. This is the same camera, 2 months earlier. October 29th, 2023. Video played. Same angle, same night vision. This time the figure turned on the light, and I saw his face. Connor, my brother. On screen, Connor walked to the cabinet, pulled out the wooden display case with the coins, opened it, looked inside, closed it, tucked it under his arm, then opened a desk drawer, took out my grandmother's ring, checked his phone. Timestamp showed 2:17 a.m. and left. Grace paused the video. That is Connor Sullivan, stealing from his grandmother. Connor's face went white, mouth opened, closed, opened again. That's not. Grace clicked another file. December 28th, 2023. 10 days after the second search, Connor uploaded the collection to eBay under username CSULL_LA. Sold it for $19,400 to a collector in Texas. She turned the laptop toward my father. eBay listing, 47 rare coins. Starting bid 8,000. Final sale, 19,400. Username, CSULL_LA. Verified account. Transaction complete. Connor. My father's voice was quiet. What did you do? Connor put his head in his hands. Grace clicked another file. January 6th, 2024. Different camera, kitchen, hidden in the smoke detector. Video played. Daytime. Color. Natalie entered. Glanced around, checking if anyone watched, then walked to the counter where my grandmother's purse sat. Opened the purse. Pulled out the wallet. Counted cash. Took it. Stuffed it in her pocket. Looked around nervously 4 times in 23 seconds. Then left. Grace paused. That is Natalie Sullivan, taking $823 from her grandmother's wallet. Natalie made a sound, gasp, sob, something between. $823, Grace repeated. Dorothy called me 3 days later, January 9th, crying. She said, Grace, I gave Natalie $50 for gas. Then she took 8 times that from my purse when I wasn't looking. Natalie grabbed the trash can, vomited, twice. Then dry heaved 3 more times. Connor still had his head in his hands, shoulders shaking, crying. My mother cried too. No. No, 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 this can't. My father stood so fast his chair fell backward, reached for the laptop. Grace pulled it away, snapped it shut, called sharply, Daniel. The door opened. Security guard, tall, broad-shouldered, building uniform. My father froze. Mr. Sullivan. Grace's voice was ice. Sit down, or leave. Your choice. He stood 5 seconds, then picked up his chair, sat. The guard stayed by the door. Grace reopened the laptop. There's more. Another video. February 23rd, 2024, 1:23 a.m. study. Natalie entered, turned on the light, walked directly to the landscape painting on the wall. My grandfather's painting of a barn and field. Lifted it off its hook. Behind it, a safe. Natalie entered a combination. 6 digits. Safe opened. Reached inside. Took something. Took something else. Closed the safe. Didn't lock it properly. Just pushed it shut. Hung the painting back. Turned off the light. Left. Grace paused on Natalie's face. Clear. Unmistakable. That is Natalie Sullivan opening a safe Dorothy had told her family about years ago. Taking Dorothy's wedding ring, which Connor had placed there after stealing it, and taking $12,000 in emergency cash. She clicked another window. February 24th. Natalie's credit card statement shows payment of $18,900 to Visa. The amount matches combined value of coins sold on eBay and cash from the safe, minus what she'd spent. Paying off debt. Grace's voice was flat. Credit card debt from medical school and personal shopping. $22,300 total. The theft brought it down to $3,400. Natalie sobbed loudly now. I was going to pay her back. She managed through tears. I swear. When? Grace's voice sharp. Dorothy died April 1st. You had 5 weeks. You didn't pay back a cent. Didn't even visit her in the hospital. I had exams. You stayed 20 minutes. Silence except Natalie crying. My father tried once more, voice desperate now. Okay, fine. They made mistakes. They're young, stupid. But that doesn't mean Wendy gets everything. Grace closed the laptop. Actually, Mr. Sullivan, that's exactly what it means. This is insane. We'll contest. You manipulated my mother. I met with Dorothy 6 times in her final weeks. She was fully competent. I have evaluations from 3 doctors confirming her capacity. She knew exactly what she was doing. We'll take this to court. You'll lose. Grace's voice flat, final. You'll pay your own legal fees. You'll pay the estate's legal fees for defending against a frivolous claim. You'll walk away with nothing but a bigger bill. My mother turned to me, eyes red, makeup streaked. You knew, voice shaking with anger. You knew they took things and didn't tell us. You let this happen. I stood, chair scrape. I looked at her, my mother, the woman who raised me, and said, voice steady, I told Grandma it was her decision what to do, not mine, not yours. Grace nodded, and Dorothy's decision was to protect the only person who actually loved her. She reached into her briefcase again, pulled out an envelope, sealed. My grandmother's handwriting on front. Dorothy left a letter. She asked me to read it if this moment came. She knew it would. She knew exactly how you'd react. Grace looked at my father. She knew you'd blame Wendy, knew you'd accuse her, knew you'd try to take everything from the one person who deserved it. Grace opened the envelope, so she made sure that wouldn't happen. Fan Joan Ba, the backstory. I need to go back to explain how I got here. I moved in with my grandmother on September 15th, 2022. Saturday, late summer. Warm sun on pavement as I loaded the last box into my Honda. I'd spent 2 days packing everything I owned. 14 cardboard boxes from the liquor store, 2 suitcases. Laptop. Desk lamp my grandmother gave me at college graduation. Printer that jammed every third page but still worked. Most furniture didn't fit. IKEA couch. Bookshelf I'd assembled wrong so it leaned left. Kitchen table where I'd eaten breakfast alone 3 years. I broke my lease early. Landlord charged $1,200 penalty. I paid with my credit card, already carrying a balance I couldn't afford. I drove in silence. No music, just engine sound and occasional rattle I couldn't afford to fix. She opened the door before I knocked. Dorothy Sullivan, 80 years old, 5'2", maybe 125. Arthritis in her hands made buttoning shirts, opening jars, holding a pen difficult and painful. But her mind was sharp, her smile warm. She looked at my car, packed so full I could barely see out back. Oh, sweetheart, she said, you didn't have to bring so much. It's okay, Grandma. I want to be here. She studied my face. Long moment. I wondered what she saw. 26-year-old granddaughter, recently divorced, recently unemployed, recently evicted from her own life. Your father told me you lost your job, she said quietly. I lied without hesitation. No, just freelancing now. More flexible. I can work anywhere. Truth was complicated. I'd been laid off 3 months earlier. Budget cuts, they said. Nothing personal. Let me and two other junior designers go same day. We cleaned our desks in silence, carried boxes to cars, tried not to cry until we got home. Since then, I'd been freelancing, picking up whatever work I could find, logo designs for small businesses, website mock-ups for startups, social media graphics for influencers who paid late or not at all. Income dropped from 38,000 a year to maybe 32 if I was lucky. If I worked constantly, if I said yes to every project no matter how poorly it paid. And I still had debt. $18,600. Not my debt, my ex-husband's. Jeremy was a gambler, not casinos, online sports betting, always one more bet from winning big, borrowed from credit cards, promised to pay back, never did. We were married 14 months, long enough to drain my savings, keeping us afloat, long enough to pay his debts so creditors wouldn't reap his SR apartment, long enough to learn love doesn't fix addiction. I divorced him 8 months before moving in with Grandma, but debt followed. I didn't tell her that, just smiled and said freelancing was flexible. She nodded, like she believed me, or knew I was lying but loved me enough to let me keep dignity. Come on, she said. Let me show you your room. Same room from childhood visits, 11 by 13 feet, second floor, overlooking the backyard. Same wallpaper, pale yellow with tiny white flowers. Same bed, same dresser, like stepping back in time. I unpacked slowly over 3 days, found a framed photo wrapped in newspaper, forgotten I had it. Me at 8, standing in Grandma's kitchen, wearing an apron too big, tied twice around my waist, face covered in flour. Grandma beside me, laughing, hand on my shoulder, teaching me to bake cookies that day. Chocolate chip. I'd eaten half the dough before it made the oven. I set the photo on the nightstand. First week, we found a routine. I worked at the dining table during the day. Laptop, notebook, coffee that went cold before I finished. Designed logos for a San Diego boutique. Website mock-up for a Portland yoga instructor. Social media graphics for a lifestyle blogger who paid $50 for 10 posts. Grandma spent days in the living room, game shows, mystery novels. Sometimes her garden, tomatoes, basil, roses in raised beds out back. She moved slowly, carefully. Arthritis made every motion deliberate. We cooked dinner together every night. She couldn't do much physical work. Hands hurt too much. But she directed. Told me when to add salt, turn down heat, when something needed 5 more minutes. I learned her favorite meals: roast chicken with lemon and rosemary, mashed potatoes with just enough butter, green beans sauteed with garlic, low sodium everything because of her blood pressure. After dinner, Jeopardy at 7. She was good, better than me. Knew history and literature and geography, subjects I'd barely scraped through. Then Scrabble, or I'd read aloud from whatever mystery she was working through. Her eyes got tired evenings. She'd sit in her chair by the lamp. I'd read chapter after chapter until she fell asleep. Quiet, simple, peaceful. Then, 6 weeks after I moved in, my family came for dinner. Grandma was excited, talked about it for days. Your father's bringing Natalie, she'd said. It'll be nice to see them. Connor couldn't make it. In Los Angeles, we spent 3 hours preparing roast chicken, grandma's specialty, mashed potatoes, green beans, apple pie from scratch with farmers market apples. I helped with everything: peeled potatoes, snapped beans, rolled pie crust. Grandma made snickerdoodles too, her favorite cookies. Insisted, even though her hands hurt that day. 48 cookies arranged on a plate. Natalie loves these, she said, smiling. Used to make them when she was little. We set the table for 5. White tablecloth, good dishes, cloth napkins. Grandma wanted everything perfect. They arrived 6:30, 15 minutes late. Father walked in first, kissed Grandma's cheek, immediately checked his phone. Mother followed with wine, handed it to me without looking. Put this in the fridge. Natalie came last. Designer purse, cream leather, gold hardware, probably $3,000. Wore skinny jeans, cashmere sweater, ankle boots, hugged Grandma. Sorry we're late, I had lab. We sat at 6:45, father and mother on one side, Natalie at the end, Grandma and I on the other. Food was good. Chicken perfect. Crispy skin, tender meat. Potatoes creamy. Green beans bright and fresh. The conversation strained. Father talked about work. Big sale just closed. Difficult client who ultimately came around. Commission higher than expected. Mother talked about a charity gala, venue at the country club, silent auction shaping up. Hope to raise 50,000. Natalie talked about medical school, anatomy exam, got 96%, highest score in her class. Professor complimented her in front of everyone. Grandma beamed. Oh, sweetheart, that's wonderful. You've always been so smart. Natalie glanced at me. Just a second. Expression neutral, but something underneath. Something smug. Some of us are still building careers, she said lightly. No one asked about my work. Not once in the hour and 22 minutes they stayed did anyone ask what I was working on, what projects I had, how freelancing was going. When they finished, Mother stood, started gathering plates. Oh, let me help, Grandma said, starting to rise. No, no, Mom. Sit. Wendy can clean up. They left at 8:12. I washed 23 dishes alone while Grandma sat at the table, exhausted from hosting. When I finished, dried my hands, sat across from her. She reached across the table, touched my hand. Thank you for staying, she said quietly. I squeezed her hand. Always, Grandma. Over the next 2 years, that became the pattern. I cooked 730 dinners. Breakfast every morning. Oatmeal with blueberries, her favorite. Lunch, soup, sandwiches, salads. Dinner every night. Drove her to physical therapy twice a week. 40 minutes round trip to the clinic. Another hour while she did exercises. 40 minutes back. Therapist had her doing stretches and gentle resistance training to keep joints mobile. Helped her dress every morning because buttoning was too difficult. Gave her insulin shots for diabetes. Diagnosed 5 years earlier. Never comfortable doing it herself. Organized medications in a weekly pill case. Monday through Sunday, morning and evening. Blood pressure medication. Cholesterol medication. Aspirin. Vitamins. At night, tucked her in. Made sure she'd taken evening pills. Turned on the lamp. She was afraid of the dark. Couldn't sleep without it. Some nights she woke confused, thinking it was morning when it was 3 a.m., thinking she needed to make breakfast, thinking my grandfather was still alive, waiting downstairs. Those nights I'd wake to her walking in the hallway, get up, guide her back to bed, sit with her until she remembered where she was, when she was, who I was. 23 times over 2 years, I slept in the chair beside her bed because she was sick or scared or in pain and didn't want to be alone. Freelance work suffered, making 32,000 now instead of 38. Couldn't take bigger projects because couldn't travel to client meetings. Couldn't work late because grandma needed dinner at consistent time. Couldn't go out with friends because didn't want to leave her alone. But I didn't resent it. Not for a second. I loved her. My family visited 18 times in 2 years. Father and mother came together, usually Sunday afternoons. Stayed hour and a half, sometimes two. Father talked about work. Mother commented on the house. Should really update the kitchen. Carpets looking worn. Never stayed for dinner. Never overnight. Never helped with anything. Natalie visited 4 times. Came alone between semesters. Stayed 2.5 hours average. Updated grandma on classes, grades, residency plans. Took selfies with grandma. Posted on Instagram. Quality time with grandma. And family is everything. Never helped cook. Never cleaned. Never offered to drive grandma to appointments. Connor came home once. Christmas 2022. Flew in December 23rd. Stayed through Christmas Day. Flew back the 26th. 4 hours total with grandma. 2 Christmas Eve. 2 Christmas Day. Spent most time on his phone. One Tuesday in February 2024. Driving home from physical therapy. She said something I didn't understand then. We were stopped at a red light. NPR played softly. Grandma stared out the window at nothing particular. Wendy, she said quietly, not looking at me. When I die, your father's going to say terrible things about you. I glanced at her, surprised. Grandma, don't talk like that. I'm serious. Voice steady, factual, like stating inevitable truth. He's going to blame you. Make it seem like you took advantage of me. Why would he do that? Light turned green. I drove. She didn't answer right away. Then, because you're the one who stayed, and that makes him look bad. I wanted to argue, tell her that wasn't true, that father wouldn't do that, but couldn't. Because part of me knew she was right. 2 weeks later, on a Thursday morning, late February, everything changed. I was making tea. Earl Grey for me, chamomile for grandma. Kettle just started whistling when I heard her call my name from down the hall. Voice sounded wrong, strained. frightened. I turned off the stove, ran, found her in the study, grandfather's old office where he used to do paperwork and read the newspaper. Standing in the middle of the room, holding an empty wooden display case. Her hand shook. Grandma. I stepped in. What's wrong? She looked at me, eyes wet. The coins, she said, voice cracked. Your grandfather's coins. They're gone. Stomach drop. Gone? Are you sure? I didn't move them. Starting to panic. Wendy, I didn't move them. Someone took them. I took the case from her hands, set it on the desk. When did you last see them? She closed her eyes, thinking. Christmas, I think. I showed them to someone. Can't remember who. Christmas was 2 months ago. Okay, I said, keeping voice calm. Let's look around. Maybe you put them somewhere else. We searched the study an hour, opened every drawer in the desk, checked every shelf, looked behind books, under furniture, no coins. We expanded the search. Living room, dining room, her bedroom, guest bedroom. 8 rooms total over 3 hours. Nothing. Grandma was crying by then, sitting at kitchen table, face in hands, sobbing. They were your grandfather's, she kept saying. He collected them 40 years. They were supposed to go to the family. I made chamomile tea, sat with her until she calmed. 2 days later, she realized her wedding ring was missing, looking in jewelry box for earrings when she noticed. Ring holder where she always kept it, small velvet stand, was empty. My wedding ring, she whispered, staring at empty holder. The one your grandfather gave me. 1952. It was his grandmother's ring. He saved months to buy the diamond. I stood beside her, looking at empty space where something irreplaceable used to be. That night, I lay awake staring at ceiling. Someone had been in Grandma's house. Someone took things that mattered, sentimental things, valuable things. 11 p.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Got up, opened door. Grandma stood there in nightgown, face pale in dim light from hallway nightlight. Wendy, she whispered, I think someone's been in my study. Next morning at breakfast, I made a decision. Grandma, I said carefully, watching her push oatmeal around bowl. What if we installed cameras? Just to see if anyone comes in when we're not looking. She stared at coffee long time. Hands trembled around mug. You think... Couldn't finish. You think it's someone in the family? I chose words carefully. I don't know. But if things are missing, we should find out who's taking them. If it's one of them... Voice broke. Wendy, I don't know if I can handle that. I reached across table, held her hand. We don't have to tell anyone. Let's just see what we find. She was quiet 30 seconds. I counted, watched her think through every possibility, every outcome, every horrible truth we might uncover. Finally, okay, but Wendy, don't tell your father, please. I promise. That night, ordered cameras online, 5 of them. Small, discreet, cloud storage, motion detection, $487 total. Paid with credit card. Tried not to think about the balance. They arrived January 20th. Installed them January 22nd. Early evening, 6 p.m. One in living room, tucked into bookshelf between hardcover novels. One in Grandma's bedroom, hidden in alarm clock on nightstand. One in study, built into picture frame on wall. Old landscape painting of barn and field. One in garage, motion sensor camera pointed at door to house. One at back door, disguised as doorbell camera. Cloud storage, 90-day rolling backup. $12.99 a month. I pay that too. Tested app on phone. Pulled up each camera feed. Checked motion detection settings. Set up notifications. Grandma watched over my shoulder, expression unreadable. When I finished, she whispered, "I hope we're wrong." I hope so too, but didn't think we were. Han Joan Bon. The investigation. 17 days. Nothing happened. Checked camera app every morning when I woke. Scrolled through motion alerts, all mundane. Grandma walking from bedroom to bathroom 2 a.m. Me coming downstairs 6:30 to make coffee. Us moving through the house during day. Cooking, cleaning, living. Study camera showed nothing suspicious. No one entering when we weren't there. No movement at night. Started wondering if we'd imagined it. If Grandma misplaced the coins and ring herself. Couldn't remember. February 3rd, she said as much. Eating lunch, tomato soup and grilled cheese. She set down spoon. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I forgot where I put them. You didn't forget, Grandma. They're gone. She gave sad smile. Maybe I should let it go. They're just things. But they weren't just things. 47 rare coins Grandfather collected for decades. Wedding ring in our family 70 years. I didn't say that, just squeezed her hand. We'll figure it out. But I kept checking cameras. Every morning, every night, every spare moment. Pulled up app and scanned feeds. Then February 8th, 11:47 p.m., phone buzzed. Lying in bed, scrolling emails on laptop when notification appeared on phone screen. Motion detected. Study heart jump. Grabbed phone. Opened app. Study camera feed loaded black and white. Night vision mode. Angle from picture frame on wall. Looking across room toward door. Door was opening. Slowly. Carefully. Someone entering. Sat up in bed. Mouth suddenly dry. Checked on Grandma 40 minutes ago. Been asleep in bed. Breathing softly. Lamp on nightstand casting warm glow. This wasn't her. Figure moved into frame. Average height. Maybe 5'9". Slim build. Wearing dark hoodie with hood up. Jeans. Sneakers. Couldn't see face. Kept back to camera. Moving carefully like they knew where they were going. Went to desk first. Opened top drawer. Rifled through papers. Closed it. Second drawer. More papers. Closed it. Moved to cabinet against wall, where coins had been kept. Opened it. Looked inside. Clearly frustrated it was empty. Searched 6 minutes. Watched timestamp tick forward. 11:47 p.m. 11:49. 11:51. At 11:53, gave up. Left room. Closed door. Sat frozen in bed, staring at phone screen. Someone just been in Grandma's house. right now, middle of the night. Should have gone downstairs, confronted them, called police, but I was terrified. What if still in house? What if came upstairs? What if hurt grandma? Grabbed phone, texted grandma's landline, old phone on nightstand with loud ringer. Rang. Once, twice, 3 times. She answered fourth ring, voice groggy. Hello? Grandma, it's me. Are you okay? Wendy? Confused. What time is it? Almost midnight. Are you okay? Is your door locked? My door? Yes, I think so. Why? Just checking. Go back to sleep. Love you. Love you too, sweetheart. Hung up. Listened. House was silent. After 20 minutes, heard car engine start outside. Distant, maybe a block away. Whoever it was had left. Didn't sleep rest of night. Next morning, watched footage again at dining table. Grandma in living room watching The Price is Right. Had laptop open, video file downloaded from cloud storage, playing on repeat. Zoomed in on figure, adjusted brightness, slowed playback. Still couldn't see face. Hood obscured everything. Never turned toward camera, but noticed things. Hoodie had logo on chest. Enhanced image much as could. Swoosh. Nike. Figure checked phone twice during search. Phone screen lit up hoodie briefly. Definitely Nike. Black. And limping slightly. Favoring left leg. Sat back. Mind racing. Connor wore black Nike hoodie at Christmas. Remembered because mother commented. Always dress like going to gym. And Connor twisted ankle skiing in December. Posted about it on Instagram. Complained for weeks, but couldn't be sure. Not yet. Footage too dark, too grainy. Could have been anyone. Needed more evidence. 15 days later, February 23rd, 1:23 a.m., phone buzzed again. Motion detected. Study grabbed phone immediately. Watched real time. Study door open. Same figure entered, but this time turned on light. Camera adjusted from night vision to color. Image sharpened. Held my breath. Figure walked across room to wall where grandfather's landscape painting hung. Barn and field. Oils. Bought at estate sale decades ago. Lifted painting off hook. Set it aside. Behind painting was a safe. Didn't even know there was safe there. Figure entered 6-digit combination. Couldn't see numbers. Body blocked view, but saw safe door swing open. Then figure reached inside. Took something out. Something small. Couldn't see what. Stuffed in pocket. Took something else. Also small. Other pocket. Closed safe door. Didn't lock properly. Didn't click shut. Just pushed closed. Hung painting back on wall. Then for just a moment, turned toward window. Light from desk lamp hit face. Long dark hair in ponytail. Sharp features. Face I knew as well as my own. Natalie, my sister. Watched her check phone. 1:35 a.m. according to screen. Then leave room, turning off light. Sat in bed, shaking. Natalie just stolen from our grandmother. Watched rest of footage in daze. Heard car start minutes later. Watched back door camera catch figure leaving through yard. Didn't sleep. 6 a.m. when sure sun was up. and Natalie, long gone, went downstairs to study. Painting hung on wall exactly where it always had. Lifted it off hook. Safe was there, built into wall. Door pushed closed but not locked. Opened it. Empty. Completely empty. Took photo with phone. Then closed safe. Hung painting back. Went to make breakfast. Grandma came down 8:30. Waited until she finished oatmeal. Until she'd taken morning medications. Until she seemed calm and settled. Then, Grandma, I need to show you something. Sat at dining table, laptop between us, turned screen toward her. The cameras caught someone, I said quietly. Twice. Hand went to mouth. Who? Played first video. February 8th. Figure in dark hoodie searching study. I think this is Connor, I said, pausing video. Look at the hoodie, Nike. And he's limping. Remember he hurt his ankle skiing? She leaned closer. I can't tell. It's so dark. I know, but look. Zoomed in on moment figure checked phone, light illuminating Nike logo. He wore this hoodie at Christmas. She was quiet, staring. Played second video, clearer. Natalie walking into study, turning on light, going to painting, opening safe. Grandma gasped when Natalie's face came into view. That's Natalie. I know. She watched rest in silence, watched Natalie take items from safe, watched her close it and leave. When it ended, just sat there, staring at frozen final frame. The safe behind the painting, I said gently. What was in it? Voice barely whisper. The coins, your grandfather's coins, and my ring, and cash. Emergency money, about $12,000. Did they know about the safe? Nodded, tears starting. I told them, years ago. Said if anything happened to me, there's safe behind painting. Emergency money. Combination is Grandpa's birthday, March 11th, 1928. 311, 1928. Closed my eyes. So they knew exactly where to look. Started sobbing. Why would they do this? I would have given them money if they asked. Would have given them anything. Moved chair closer, put arm around her. She cried 4 minutes 12 seconds. Timed it, watching clock on laptop screen, because didn't know what else to do. When finally stopped, said, Don't tell anyone yet, please. I need to think. Okay, I need to figure out what to do. Hey, nodded. Whatever you want, Grandma. That night, bedtime helped her into bed. Fluffed pillows, made sure water glass full, turned on lamp. She held my hand before I could leave. You're the only one who stayed, she said. The only one who cared. Squeezed her hand. I'll always care, Grandma. She didn't let go. When I die, and I will die soon, we both know that. They're going to blame you for all of this. Grandma, serious, Wendy. Going to say you influenced me? Say you stole from me? Make you the villain? Didn't know what to say. Part wanted to argue. Part knew she was right. I won't let that happen, she said. Grip tightened. Promise you, won't let them destroy you. 5 weeks later, she was dead. Fan Joa Num, Grandma's decline after Grandma saw the videos. Something broke. She stopped laughing at Jeopardy, sat in chair, staring at TV screen, not really watching. Alex Trebek, reruns, died years earlier, asked questions. She didn't respond, didn't try to guess answers. She stopped eating, made her favorite meals: chicken soup from scratch, grilled cheese with tomato, apple pie with vanilla ice cream. She'd take 2 bites and push plate away. Not hungry, she'd say. Grandma, you have to eat. Can't. 3 weeks, lost 11 pounds. 127 to 116. Could see her collarbones. Wrists looked fragile, like they might snap if I held too tight. She spent hours staring at photographs. Family albums spread across coffee table. Natalie and Connor as children. Natalie in high school graduation cap. Connor at first communion. Father and mother on wedding day. She'd touch photos with one finger, tracing faces, and cry. Found her crying 11 times in March. In kitchen, tears running down face while trying to make tea. In bedroom, sitting on bed edge, holding photo of grandfather. In study, standing before painting, hand pressed against wall where safe was hidden. I raised them, she'd say through sobs. Loved them, gave them everything. How could they do this? Never knew how to answer. No good answer. March 28th, late evening, sat together in living room. She in her chair. Me on couch, pretending to work on laptop but really just watching her. She said, without looking at me, I called Grace. Grace Whitmore, her lawyer. Friends 38 years, since both were younger women raising families, same neighborhood. What did you tell her? I asked. Everything. Stared at hands in lap. About videos. What Natalie and Connor did. Asked her to update my will. Stomach tightened. Grandma, you don't have to. Already did. Last week, February 26th. Almost a month ago. Right after we watched second video. Gave her copies of videos, she continued, and wrote a letter. 12 pages. Took 3 days. My hands hurt so much. Didn't know what to say. Finally looked at me. Eyes red from crying, but clear, determined. Leaving everything to you, Wendy. Grandma, don't argue. You're the only one who deserves it. Only one who loved me for me, not for what I could give. Tears burned in my eyes. That's not why I stayed. Didn't stay because wanted anything. I know. Reached across space between us. Took my hand. That's exactly why you're getting everything. Couldn't speak. Told Grace. She said quietly, if anyone accuses you of theft at will reading, she's to show them videos immediately. Won't have them blaming you for what they did. They're going to be so angry. Don't care. Voice firm. Final. They stole from me. Lied to me. Broke my heart. Now they'll face consequences. That night, couldn't sleep. Lay in bed, thinking about what she'd said, about Will, about videos, about what would happen when family found out. Next morning, March 29th, woke 6 a.m. to sound of something falling. Ran out of room and down hall. Grandma was lying on bathroom floor, one arm outstretched, face pale. Grandma, Dropped to knees beside her. She tried to speak. Mouth moved, but no words came. Left side of face drooped. Stroke. Called 911. Hands shaking so badly could barely hold phone. Need ambulance. My grandmother. Thinks she's having stroke. Dispatcher walked me through what to do while we waited. Check breathing. Check pulse. Don't move her. Talk to her. Keep calm. Paramedics arrived 9 minutes. Loaded her onto stretcher. Started IV. Checked vitals. Rode in ambulance with her. Holding hand whole way. St. Vincent Medical Center. Emergency room. CT scan. Diagnosis: ischemic stroke, left hemisphere. Serious. Age was factored. Stress could have contributed. Moved her to ICU. Called father from hospital waiting room 7:45 a.m. Dad, it's Wendy. Grandma had stroke. She's in ICU at St. Vincent. He was quiet moment. Then, is it serious? Yes, very. We'll come visit. When? Later today. Have showing at 9. They arrived 8 p.m., 12 hours later. Stayed 45 minutes. Mother stood by bed, looking uncomfortable. Father checked phone twice. Spoke to doctor 5 minutes. Asked about prognosis, uncertain, then left. We'll come back tomorrow, father said. Came back 3 days later. Stayed 30 minutes. Natalie visited once. Walked into ICU room, looked at grandma hooked to machines, said, "Oh my God." Stayed 20 minutes. Had exams she needed to study for. Hugged me on way out. Quick, performative hug, said, "Let me know if anything changes." Connor didn't visit at all. Texted me, "Stuck in LA with work stuff. Tell grandma thinking about her. Sending love." I stayed hospital 72 hours straight. Slept in chair beside bed, jacket balled up as pillow. Ate vending machine food, stale sandwiches, chips, coffee that tasted like burnt plastic. Didn't shower, didn't change clothes. Held her hand, talked to her, even though didn't know if she could hear. Third day, she woke, just for a moment. Eyes opened, focused on my face. Tried to speak. Mouth moved, leaned in close. "Did you tell them?" she whispered. Shook head. "No, didn't tell anyone." Squeezed my hand weakly. "Good." Then closed eyes. Fell back asleep. Doctors said nothing more they could do. Damage extensive. She'd never fully recover. Recommended hospice care. Grandma, in brief moment of lucidity, said 3 words. "Take me home." I arranged everything. Hospice nurse who visited twice daily, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. hospital bed in living room so she could see garden through windows. Morphine for pain. Oxygen. Comfort, care. Only. March 31st, evening, she was awake. Sat beside bed, holding hand. "Wendy," she whispered. "Come here." Leaned in close. Called Grace. "Last week." "I know, Grandma. You told me." "Changed my will." "I know." And gave her videos. And wrote letter. Paused. Breathing slowly. Each breath an effort. "You didn't have to do all that," I said, voice breaking. "Yes, did." Squeezed hand. Grip so weak. "You're the only one who stayed. Only one who loved me. Not my money." Started crying. Couldn't help it. "Love you because you're you," I said. She smiled, small smile, but there. No, sweetheart, that's why. Sat in silence 20 minutes, me holding hand, her breathing slowly, steadily. Then, promise me something, anything. Promise won't let them make you feel small. I promise. You're stronger than all of them. Remember that. Nodded, tears streaming. I will. Those were last words she said to me. She died April 1st, 2:38 a.m. I was holding her hand. Breathing had been shallow for hours, each breath further apart than last. And then, between one breath and next, she just stopped. Sat there 10 minutes before called hospice nurse, then called father. 3 a.m. He answered fifth ring, groggy. Hello? Dad, it's Wendy. Grandma died. Silence. Then, when? About 20 minutes ago. Okay, we'll come over in morning. He arrived 7:30. 4.5 hours later, funeral was April 5th. Gray skies, threatening rain. Stood by grave and listened to pastor who'd never met her talk about eternal rest and God's love. Afterward, people came to offer condolences. People I didn't know. Friends from church, from teaching days, from neighborhood. Family stood on other side of grave. Father in expensive suit, mother in black. Natalie crying, real tears or performed. Couldn't tell anymore. As people started leaving, Natalie walked over, hugged me. Brief, tight hug. Whispered in my ear, at least now you can get your own place. Stood there, frozen, as she pulled away and walked back to parents. Didn't respond, didn't say word, but thought about what Grandma said. They're going to blame you, make you the villain, won't let them destroy you. 2 weeks later, got call about will reading. Pan Joanne Sayu, the letter. Grace pulled 12 pages from envelope. Paper slightly yellowed. Not old, but kind of stationery Grandma always used. Cream colored, heavy weight, subtle watermark. Handwriting shaky. Grandma's arthritis made writing difficult in final weeks, but legible. Grace adjusted reading glasses. Began. To my family. Father opened mouth. Don't, Grace said, without looking up. She wanted you to hear this. Continued. Writing this February 26th, 2024. I'm 82. Sitting at kitchen table while Wendy makes dinner. She doesn't know I'm writing this. Doesn't know I changed my will last week. Writing because I need you to understand why I made the choices I did. This isn't anger. This is grief. Grace's voice steady, but hands trembled slightly, holding pages. For 2 years, Wendy has lived with me. Not because she had nowhere else to go, though that was part of it, but because I asked her to. Because I was lonely, scared, knew I was getting old and didn't want to die alone in this house. She gave up her apartment, her social life, career opportunities because couldn't travel for work. Did all this without asking for anything in return. She cooked me 730 dinners. I counted, every single one. Drove me to 47 physical therapy appointments over 2 years. Held my hand through 23 sleepless nights when my arthritis was so bad I cried. Natalie's sobbing got louder. Grace paused, looked at her over glasses, waited until noise quieted. She learned to make low sodium meals because of my blood pressure, learned to give insulin shots because my hands shook too much, read to me every night because my eyes got tired and couldn't hold book anymore, played Scrabble with me even though she hates Scrabble, watched game shows with me even though finds them boring, sat with me in doctors' waiting rooms and held my hand while I got bad news. Did this because she loves me, not my money, not my house, not inheritance she thought she might get someday. Did it because loves me for who I am. Grace turned page. And then I saw what my other grandchildren did. Connor made sound, choked sob, pressed fists against eyes. Connor came home Christmas 2023. I was so happy. Baked his favorite cookies. Chocolate chip with walnuts. Way I've made since he was little. Made 72 cookies. Wanted him to take some back to Los Angeles. He stayed 4 hours. Then, 2 in morning, broke into my study and stole his grandfather's coin collection. 47 coins. Collected over 40 years. Worth $28,000. Sold them on eBay 10 days later. Connor, if you'd asked me for money, would have given it. If told me you were in trouble, would have helped. But you didn't ask. Just took. Like I was already dead and my things were already yours. Father put face in hands. Natalie came home winter break January 2024. Made her favorite meal. Chicken parmesan, garlic bread, tiramisu for dessert. Gave her $50 for gas money. That night took $823 from my purse while I was asleep. $823, Natalie. Took 16 times what I gave you. Looked me in eye at breakfast. Said thank you for dinner. Didn't say word about money you'd stolen. And then, 6 weeks later, came back. Knew about safe. I'd told you years ago, told all of you, in case something happened to me and you needed emergency money. Trusted you with that information. You opened that safe and took everything inside. My wedding ring. $12,000 I kept for emergencies. Took it all. Natalie rocking back and forth in chair, face in hands. Would have given you money, Natalie. All you had to do was ask. Tell me you had debt. Tell me you were struggling. Would have helped. That's what grandmothers do. But you didn't ask. You stole. Both of you stole from me. And when you left, hugged me and said you loved me and didn't say a word about what you'd done. Grace paused, took breath, continued. Patrick, my son, you visited 18 times in 2 years. Wendy kept track for me because I wanted to know. 18 times. That's once every 6 weeks. Average. Stayed average 89 minutes per visit. Never helped with anything. Never offered to drive me to appointment. Never stayed for dinner unless I insisted. Never stayed overnight when I was sick. You'd sit in my living room and talk about your work, your sales, your commissions, your life. Check your phone while I tried to tell you about my week. And never once said thank you to Wendy for taking care of me. Father's shoulders shaking. Wasn't making noise but crying. Linda asked me 3 times if I'd updated my will. September 2022, 2 months after Wendy moved in. June 2023, November 2023, 3 times in 16 months. Never asked if I was happy. Never asked if I needed anything. Never asked how I was feeling. You asked about the will. Mother made sound like she'd been struck. Grace turned another page. So I changed it. Met with Grace in February. Showed her videos from cameras Wendy helped me install. Cried in her office 40 minutes while she watched my grandchildren steal from me. And I made new will. Everything goes to Wendy. House, savings, life insurance, all of it. Not because she asked for it. She didn't. Doesn't even know I did this. But because she's the only one who deserves it. Grace's voice softened, reading next part. Wendy doesn't have high-paying job. She's freelance graphic designer making $32,000 a year. Drives Honda with 110,000 miles. Wears Target dresses to family events. Doesn't have success Natalie has. Doesn't have money Connor has. Doesn't have career you're so proud of, Patrick. But she has something none of you have. Integrity. Grace paused. Let word hang in air. She stayed when it was hard. Cared when no one was watching. Loved me when there was nothing in it for her. And when she found out what Connor and Natalie had done, didn't tell anyone. Came to me first. Let me decide what to do. Respected my autonomy, even when knew truth was painful. That's character. So yes, I'm leaving her everything. Every cent. Every piece of furniture. Every photograph and memory and item in this house that matters. And I'm leaving all of you nothing. Natalie let out wail. Actual wail. Like something torn out of her. Grace kept reading. Patrick, Linda, Natalie, Connor. Want you to know that I love you. Will always love you. You're my family. But you hurt me. Hurt me in ways didn't think family could hurt each other. And worse than that, we're going to hurt Wendy. I knew. When I died, you'd blame her. Say she manipulated me. Say she stole from me. Say she didn't deserve anything. So I made sure you couldn't. Documented everything. Videos, dates, amounts. Wrote it all down. Made sure Grace had evidence you couldn't deny. Because Wendy deserves to be protected, deserves to be vindicated, and deserves to inherit life I'm leaving behind. Grace turned to final page. Wendy, sweetheart, if you're hearing this means I'm gone. So sorry I'm not there to defend you myself. Sorry can't stand beside you and tell them they're wrong. But I hope this letter is enough. You gave me 2 years of happiness, 2 years of not being lonely, 2 years of feeling loved and cared for and valued as person, not just as grandmother with money. That's worth more than anything I'm leaving you in this will. Live well. Be happy. Don't let them make you feel guilty. You were the best part of my last years. I love you. Grandma. Grace folded letter carefully, placed back in envelope. Room completely silent except sound of people crying. Natalie sobbing into hands. Connor had head on table. Mother crying quietly, tears streaming. Father sat motionless, staring at nothing. Grace looked at each in turn, then said, the will leaves Wendy Sullivan the following. House at 428 Sycamore Drive, valued $780,000. All savings accounts, certificates of deposit, financial assets, totaling approximately $285,000. All life insurance policies, totaling $85,000. Total estate value, $1,050,000. paused. One condition. $100,000 must be used to establish scholarship fund for retired teachers in financial need. This was important to Dorothy. She was teacher 41 years. Fund must be established within 6 months of this will reading. Remaining assets are Wendy's to do with as she wishes. Grace looked at me. Wendy, do you understand and accept these terms? Couldn't speak. Throat closed. Tears streaming. Nodded. Need verbal confirmation for record? Managed to whisper, yes. Then this will is executed. Dorothy's wishes will be carried out. This meeting is adjourned. Ban Joan Bay. The aftermath. Family tried to leave immediately. Stood up, chairs scraping, moved toward door. Grace's voice stopped them. Before you go, each need to sign acknowledgement you were present at this reading and received copies of all relevant documents. Her assistant stood, handed each a clipboard with forms. They signed without reading, scribbled signatures, handed clipboards back. Father took his copy of will, 27 pages stapled, shoved into briefcase. Didn't look at me as he left. None of them did. Natalie walked past, head down, mascara smeared. Connor followed, hands in hoodie pockets. Mother was last, walking slowly, like she'd aged 10 years in last hour. Door closed behind them. Grace's assistant and notary gathered things and left too, murmuring quiet goodbyes. Then just me and Grace. She locked door, turned back to me. Your grandmother, she said quietly, left one more thing for you. Reached into briefcase, pulled out small envelope, different from letters she'd read. Smaller, sealed with actual wax, old-fashioned, kind Grandma used for special occasions. Handed it to me, my name written on front in Grandma's handwriting. She gave this to me week before she died, Grace said. Said to give it to you after reading when you were alone. Opened it carefully. Inside was key. Was small brass number stamped on it. 337. And note in Grandma's handwriting. Wendy. This is key to my safety deposit box at First National Bank on Main Street. Box 337. Inside you'll find things I want only you to have. Family photos I've collected over years. Letters your grandfather wrote to me. Some jewelry that belonged to my mother. And one more thing. A surprise. Grace will take you when you're ready. I love you, sweetheart. You made my last years happy. Thank you for staying. Read it 3 times before could look up at Grace. We can go next week, she said gently, when you've had time to process all this. Nodded. Couldn't speak. Grace sat in chair beside me, not across table, beside me. Your grandmother was one of best people I've ever known, she said, and she was right about you. Everything she wrote in that letter, it's all true. Didn't do it for this, I managed. Didn't do it to get anything. I know. That's exactly why you got everything. If 6 weeks later, April 28th, father filed legal challenge to will, hired lawyer, some firm downtown with marble floors and expensive suits, filed petition claiming undue influence, diminished capacity, coercion. Grace called when she received filing. Don't worry, she said. We expected this. We're prepared. Court date set June 12th. Grace submitted evidence package to court, 5 video files with timestamps and metadata, 12 pages of Dorothy's handwritten letter, dated and notarized, medical evaluations from 3 doctors, Dorothy's general practitioner, neurologist, psychiatrist, all confirming sound mind when executed will, testimony from notary who witnessed will signing, testimony from Grace about meetings with Dorothy, bank records showing will establishment February 26th. Father's lawyer tried to argue videos were doctored. Letter forged. Grace manipulated elderly woman who was confused and scared. Judge reviewed everything, took 11 minutes, then ruled. Evidence is overwhelming. Mrs. Sullivan clearly of sound mind, clearly not coerced. This will was executed properly and legally. Challenge is denied. Looked at father's lawyer. Your client will pay all court costs associated with this frivolous claim, $3,200, payable to court and estate's legal defense fund. Father tried to appeal. His lawyer advised against it, said they'd lose again, pay more costs, accomplish nothing. Dropped appeal 2 weeks later. I received full inheritance early July. Kept the house. Couldn't sell it. Every room had memories. Grandma's chair in living room. Kitchen where we'd cooked 730 dinners. Study where we'd watched videos that changed everything. Bedroom where she died while I held hand. Established scholarship fund as required. The Dorothy Sullivan Fund for Retired Educators. $100,000. Invested to generate annual income. Produces about $4,000 a year interest. Award 5 scholarships annually, 800 each. To retired teachers struggling financially. Who gave careers to education and now can't afford medical bills, home repairs, basic necessities. Quit freelancing. Started teaching graphic design at Orange County Community College. Salary, $54,000 a year. Invested remaining assets conservatively. Index funds, bonds, stable investments generating passive income. About $38,000 a year. Total annual income, $92,000. House paid off. No mortgage, no rent. First time in adult life, I'm financially stable. September, held first scholarship ceremony at college. 5 recipients. All women, all retired teachers, all struggling. First was Julia Brennan, 68, taught 3rd grade 41 years. Her pension barely covered rent. Couldn't afford blood pressure medication. Stood at podium and cried. Thank you, she said through tears. This means... You don't know what this means. Dorothy Sullivan taught at my school. I knew her. She was kindest person I ever met. Looked at me. She'd be so proud of you. I cried too. Couldn't help it. Family hasn't contacted me since court ruling. Natalie blocked me on every social platform. Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. Connor sent one text message in August. I'm sorry for everything. I know it doesn't mean anything now, but I'm sorry. Didn't respond. Father tried calling 11 times over 3 months. Never answered. Eventually, he stopped. Mother sent letter in October, handwritten on her good stationery. It said, Wendy, I know you're angry. I understand. But we're still family. We need to heal. need to move forward. Grandma wouldn't have wanted us divided like this. Please call me. Let's talk. Mom read it once, then threw it away. I don't feel guilty. Remember what Grandma said that last night. Promise won't let them make you feel small. You're stronger than all of them. She was right. Last week, making tea in kitchen. Same kitchen where I'd found her 2 years ago. Same kettle. Same Earl Grey she taught me to make properly. 1 teaspoon loose leaves. Water just off boil. Steep 3 minutes. No more, no less. Sat at table where we'd eaten 730 dinners together and whispered, I hope I made you proud, Grandma. House was quiet. Just sound of clock ticking on wall. Hum of refrigerator. Wind rustling roses outside window. Ones she'd planted, ones I still tend. Sat there long time, drinking tea, feeling warmth spread through me, and I knew with absolute certainty, she was proud. Because I'd stayed, because I'd cared, because I'd loved her for exactly who she was. And in the end, that was worth